the only way to unfuck the world is to wipe out the humans. It sounds very, very dark, but if you look around, it's not. We are heading towards the environment of this movie.
So Last Sentinel is really quite the interesting film. What about it really sparked your interest to want to be a part of it?
I was attached to the script already. The script's been around. They tried to make that film for 10 years by now. But when this director Tanel Toom was attached, I've been shooting a film in Estonia actually in the beginning of that year, and I wanted to meet him, and I didn't know that he was attached to that project. I didn't remember anymore that I was attached to the project. So he's quite spectacular. He's very young director, genius, I think, and this film, everything you see, I like this film a lot. It's not very often that you do a film, and then you watch it and you don't cringe, and so it's all him. It's all Tanel Toom for me.
What were some of the big talking points that you and he had while putting this together?
There are no talking points. We met. It took like 5 minutes, look at each other and say like, let's do it together, so you can feel that, you can sniff it out. I can actually. And the script was quite clear. We went through it. It's like, it's all nuanced, but he's so precise himself. And it was like, so to the point and so stripped down of all the bullshit, so there was, it was, to be honest, relatively easy shooting that movie because he so precisely knew what he wanted. And it was also so crystal clear that there was not much to talk about. On top of it, I almost agree with the message of the movie that to unfuck the world, the only way to unfuck the world is to wipe out the humans. It sounds very, very dark, but if you look around, it's not. We are heading towards the environment of this movie.
No, it's a very heavy message, but at the same time, it's one that needs to get out there. And I think the way this film does that is really. It's entertaining as well as eye-opening. So with it being an easier shoot for you, what was it like developing a rapport with your cast? Because I love the dynamic that it feels like each character has a unique dynamic with one another.
Yeah, it starts with the cast. It's in the end, we were supposed to be, the world got so narrowed down that there is no country anymore. There's only like this two tiny leftovers of continents, right? And so there are no Germans, there are no English, there are no Americans, there are no, so and everyone represented like a mindset or a mood of a group or so. I saw my character as a washed up warrior who failed, who tries to redeem. I don't know even how to explain it to. He has his rules. He dedicates himself to that. He was the leader of a group which died. We left it open in the context, and he tries to dedicate his life to make it right, following the rules and the book, and the rules and the book been established by what's left of the leaders of the world, and and uh, and and in his mind, the his leadership or his decision making led to a catastrophe. Was he failed? So now he puts himself, his life in service to follow what supposedly makes sense, and everyone else questions that, and so do I as a person. And the goal is to keep the balance and secure the survival of humanity in that sense, which we see since we shot the movie. The whole world has been taken hostage by one person, and everyone sits and watches. And this comes on top of it, So it's a combination. It's mind blowing. I did so many movies, which when they come out, you go like, how the fuck did that happen? So it's like we are exactly in a different context at this point in the world, which we touched while we were shooting a year or 2 years ago. So it's it's insane.
Yes, it's crazy how much the world has changed, especially in productions over the past couple of years. So what is it like for you then, having to navigate all of those layers of your character while still maintaining that stoic exterior appearance of him?
I don't know. I just do it. I don't know. I'm a big fan of minimal, less is more. And but I have to say it's all Tanel Toom, the director. It's because I watch all of us, there's not, as I said before, there's usually always, at least at a certain point, where you cringe when you watch something you were part of, Mostly it's yourself. And then, but I don't see the stitches in this movie. I don't see, I've been on set with the other 3 actors and myself. I think, Tanel Toom made us much better than we really are as actors, or it's, I'm a big fan of his. So it's, and I'm not I'm an actor. I go to set, I try to rehearse as less as possible, mostly technical, so that everyone knows what's going on. I'm a big fan of surprising myself and the situation with the first take to see what happens. Where you're at in the situation, where you're at as the character. But I want to see what happens, and so it was actually very, it was not very hard. There were not so many discussions while we've been shooting this film. It's Tanel Toom. It's the director. I don't know what to say about it.
Was there any one scene in particular from this film that you can remember where you went into it, like you say, that first take, and you really surprised yourself and you came out loving it even more than what you imagined?
But now myself, but I can. It's so hard to explain because sometimes things work. They come together. Sometimes not. I met Coppola once in Marrakesh at the film festival, and I've been asking him if you are kissed by God while you're shooting the movie, because everything works, everything fits together. Like his first movie, The God. It was not the third; it was the second, I think. The Godfather. Like if you're that young and and which is one of the most perfect films in history, in my opinion. You know, how do you know that? You know, it's like when I was shooting with Polanski, the pianist. You know, it was probably one of the easiest shoots in my life because of Polanski and because things were kissed by God in a way, you know. So Polanski himself views it as his best movie. So, and here it was, it was in a smaller scale. It's a small movie, you know, but it's it's the directors. Everything came together. It worked. So I just been looking at my director, and I saw if he's happy or not, and he is in this young age he's a master. So I don't know what to say about that.
I definitely look forward to seeing what he does next after this film. He's definitely impressed.
Yeah.
So you talk about the scale of this production. For my final couple of questions, I did want to look away from this film because we are also getting to see you return to big scale productions with the next Indiana Jones. And you know, you've been a part of quite a few amazing franchises up to this point, but how did it feel getting to join the Indiana Jones adventure world?
When they come and make you part of something like this, it's almost a little bit like you win the lottery, you know. Even though I did so much, you know, but it's there's always something else, you know, and it's like we all grew up with Harrison Ford, right? And then you're there, and then the first day you shoot and the first take you do, you know right away, that's why Harrison Ford is Harrison Ford, because there's something you cannot, I don't know, you don't learn, you can't describe, you know. To me, it was like my first scene with him, the first take, he suddenly was so big in front of me, you know, and I was like, and we are same size, you know, he's not bigger than me, he's not you know, but suddenly I felt very small, you know, so I had to adjust, you know, to not fuck it up. But this is what I mean, you know, and these are the treats, you know, and doing these films is there's your part is minimized so much to function to be part of this whole machinery, you know, because it's in the end to shoot these big scenes. It's much more boring than to do a film like this, because films like this, it's more or less all up to the actors. You know, it stays and falls with the actors. In these big scale movies, they can always fix you. It's not so much up to your acting skills. It's more up to like how everything combined. It's blows you away. Then in the end, you know, it's two different beasts. And both have their own difficulties, you know. So like in the film, like Indiana Jones, when they prepare for 4 hours for that one shot, you know, because it's so complicated with everything, you know, you're there and you go like, I cannot fuck this up right now, you know, so it's different, you know. In a film like Last Sentinel, you do another take, you know, so it's lighter, and therefore also it's a different focus.
I can only imagine with everything, like you say, that goes into something like Indiana Jones, how stressful that can be to make sure that you don't.
Yeah, you know. There are a couple hundred people around you, you know, like being part of that scene, like the light, the technicians, this stunt, the other actors, you know. Sometimes this huge scale arrangements of the scene, you know, and every little part of it, and you're one of them, can fuck it up, you know. So the pressure.
Yeah, I can only imagine. But so then before I let you go, I know you say most of it, or it's not as much about the actors as it is about the whole thing. But I love that with this film, if I read correctly, you're paired up with Mads Mikkelsen, and I've been a fan of both of yours for a long time. So it's great to see you come together. What was that like, building a rapport with him and getting to work with him on the other side of the line?
I'm with you. I've been always a fan of his, you know. I think he's amazing. And we I had all my work in the movie either with him or with Harrison Ford. He I was very surprised that he's a maniac in sense of preparation. He is so precise. He works so much up front, and that's why it seems so light when you watch him. You know, it's like, but everything he thought through long time before, and so we were spending a lot of time together. We had a lot of drinks together. We've been hanging a lot together because we were also like partners in this on screen, you know. So and also afterwards, there was the Euro Cup when I had to become I had to cheer suddenly for Denmark. The Germans were not great. The Germans, anyways, right now in football, the losing their shit. So we spent a lot of time together, and we became friends. We still from time to time talk. So which is great, you know. This is the treat of my profession. You know, you from time to time you meet these people. You always want to know what they are about, you know, and want to know them, you know, and then you end up them being part of your life also in the future, you know, because you know each other. You sometimes check in with each other, and that's fun.
I can only imagine how rewarding it must be to feel to have that, and I love that you get to have that with Mads. I can't wait to see what comes of you both in Indy, and I can't wait to spread the word about Last Sentinel. I think people are going to really get a kick out of it.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I hope you have a good rest of your week, Thomas.